Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody. Deborah Dixon-Anderson here from Go Wellness Circle and Light of Gold PR. It's Wellness Wednesday, and I'm so thrilled to have my friend and guest, Anthony Tony Smith, who's a life coach. And we're going to talk a little bit about stress and anxiety. And we're also going to talk about meditation and just some tools that you have in your arsenal that you can use just to help you de-stress from day to day. So that's what we're going to talk about. So most of you know who I am, Deborah Dixon-Anderson, founder of Go Wellness Circle and Light of Gold PR. We're working on Women's Business Connect Conference for March 31st. That's coming up in Manhattan at Mercy College. And our Alzheimer's event is coming up in June. So we'll let you know more about that. You can go to gowellnesscircle.com or lightofgoldpr.com. Go Wellness Circle really started in response to COVID, to be honest with you. It started in response to COVID. It was a wellness initiative. Tony, you remember those times we were told to kind of shelter in place. We couldn't see each other at the Montclair Y anymore. And so a lot of us just started going to workout classes with Ted. I started teaching Zumba classes, and that just kind of took a life of its own. We started doing yoga and all these topics. And so now, 2 years later, almost three, Go Wellness Circle is officially a nonprofit. And so now we are starting to do events and wellness programming like this right here. And so, welcome, Tony. So happy to have you. And just share with everybody, because now we're on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. Just share with everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hey, guys. Again, Deborah, again, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm so excited to be here. As Deborah said, I'm a life coach. I've been a life coach for about 5 years. And the subject that we're talking about is meditation. And what I usually do is I like to tell you, why I got started with it, what propelled me to do it. And I'm the oldest of 11 children, 8 boys and 2 girls, 9 boys and 2 girls there. My mom and dad passed away. They did the best they could, but in the process, I had issues with trauma. I had issues with all kinds of domestic abuse with my mom and dad, and children abuse. Tough to raise one child, let alone 11 children. And in the process, after coming out of going to college, and being on my own, I was working on myself pertaining to the personal development, getting my head right, and therapy, and doing whatever it takes, to get past the whole trauma thing. And one of the things that came across, which really revolutionized my life, was this thing called meditation. Something that, in essence, it's been around for just so long, but it's given me the impetus as a life coach to be able to present this to people, and how, in essence, this thing can virtually change your life, like it's changed my life in such a profound way. With life coaching, I do the fitness thing and the nutritional thing and paying attention to your focus. But the meditation thing has been profound, because in this society where we're inundated with just so much information, it can make a change. So,
yes.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, for being so transparent. So let me tell you what, I love so much about Tony is he's so transparent, but he is a life coach who has literally transformed his own life. Those are the types of life coaches you want to work with. He's lost like massive quantity of weight, 60 to 80 pounds, right, Tony? He does all these Ironman challenges. And what do you call those? What do you call it? Yes. Yeah, he does all of this stuff. He walks the walk and talks the talk. And so he's incorporated meditation into his life. It's totally transformed my life. That's the best thing about doing a lot of wellness, when you transform your life and you show others how to transform theirs. And so I think that's so powerful, just looking at, what you've been able to do. So we're going to just jump right into it, everybody, because we just have about 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to be on. We're going to, Tony and I are going to chop it up a little bit. And if you want to comment, if you have questions, go ahead, drop it into the comments. I'll, go ahead and we'll mention it. So one of the things I would like to mention, it is Black History Month. We will talk a little bit just about like what's going on today with racial justice, just the stress and trauma that Black people deal with, especially when we see someone like a Tyree Nichols get brutalized and murdered before our eyes, the PTSD of COVID, which we're all dealing with. Okay, everybody's dealing with it. And just everything else that we deal with day in and day out, life and jobs and families and all of the stressors that we deal with day in and day out. How do we provide ourselves with self-care? How do we keep the anxiety at bay? How do we manage that? And, one of the things I'd like to also mention is just putting yourself on a diet from your phone and from news and everything, because it just assaults our senses all the time when you just keep seeing the same news stories. Now, I know with racial injustice, we want to do something. I still believe in signing petitions, voting, exercising our voices. We still have to do that. But in this life, in your body, how do you deal with the trauma? I'm traumatized every time I see something happen to a young Black man, and I see my stepson. I see my nephews, I see my cousins, I see my family members, and the anxiety that I deal with day in and day out, just worrying about them. And I pray for them and their safety every day. But just the reality of, police brutality, the racial injustice, it's real. It's real for those of us who are people of color, who are African Americans. This is what we are dealing with. So, Tony, please chime in on that as well.
Deborah, thank you very much. And again, happy Black History Month to you and
everybody.
So many heroes,
so many.
So many heroes there. And, I am, before I talk about the heroes, the first thing I want to say is can't make any excuses about, police brutality, what's been going on, racism, I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
We don't have to debate that there is racism, because there is. Now, the one thing that I can say is that what can I control and what I can't control.
Right.
I can control being an influence, and what I mean by that, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, in essence, changed the way, this country was by his nonviolent practice.
Yes.
Let me just tell you this. He was influenced by this Indian guy in India called Gandhi.
Yes.
And he had a quote. And the quote, Deborah, was, "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Absolutely.
What does that mean? Well, in response to myself was, I knew the trauma that I went through in my family, I knew that was going to affect my brothers and sisters. I saw that, and that what it took for me was to be able to do things that can change the trajectory of my family.
Yes.
And by doing that, I've had opportunities. I had a brother ask me about therapy now. Another person asked me about meditation. Another about fitness. I didn't push what they did. I just was the example. I was being the change that I wanted to see in the world. Yes. I can't control racism. Right. I can't control what they do, but I can control the mood and how I perceive it. Right. That's been my journey.
Yes.
And in that sense, it's really, at 60 years old, has brought me in. Again, I'm going to fight for racism. I'm going to fight for, injustice. But I have a way in which I could be able to do things in which it can be able to shine a light to people and influencing people in a way in which you say, you know what, this kind of makes sense. And that's what happened with Gandhi and Martin Luther King, because they could have fought against the racist practices of their countries, but
Right.
they did something a little different. You know, it was nonviolent,
Right.
which changed the trajectory of both of the countries.
Hmm.
So, in essence, being that change by one step at a time, by taking care of yourself, by
Yes.
fitness, by
Mhm.
meditation, by doing the things that can, you can be able to radiate your energy. Does that make sense, Deborah?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully this makes sense for everyone else who's watching us. Just definitely, you know, controlling what you can control, right, Tony? And that is what's so important from day in and day out. That's what we have to show up and do for ourselves every day. And when we walk that way and live that life, we actually impact so many other people because they're watching us, whether you're, a uncle or aunt like we are, or whether your parents, other people watch us and then they learn from us. And you just like show up as your authentic self and be transparent about your journey, because hey, it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be perfect. When you try to make it look like it's easy or perfect, then it's better to be transparent, because at least we're being honest about our journey. But they're watching us. We're being watched. So just being your authentic self is really, really important. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Tony, for that.
Deborah, let me just share something. You said talking about be authentic, and what's the reason why I really push the idea of domestic abuse, within my family, is because
Yes.
you know people want to see people like themselves, and
Yes.
so I I can tell you that I
Hmm.
see my dad,
Right.
stab my mother arm up and
Right.
stab my arm up and things like that. And I use that as an impetus in
Hmm.
which I'll say, I'll show an actual scar of my arm being stabbed, and I'll say,
Hmm.
I wear my scars as medals.
Right. That's right. That's powerful. Yes. Wear
My
your scars.
medals of life. And
Hmm.
so, in essence, I have a sense of vulnerability in which I'll just tell them, this is where I came from, but, I'm here now. And if
Yes.
I can do it, you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what, Tony? We would be remiss without shouting out Cynthia Walker and Sophia. We love you and what you do. And I'm so proud of Tony. I did the walk for the first time last year. I hate that I didn't do it before, but our fit family always and told me about it, encouraged me, and it just is transforming. But what I do love to see are men like you, Tony, step up and go ahead and, as a man, show up at these domestic violence walks, because children, brothers, sons, they're all impacted by domestic violence. And when we just see women, that's not really showing the whole story. So, as a man, as a Black man, to show up for that, that's really powerful.
I think, Deborah, again, so powerful way that you said that. And that's where, in essence, where you see the trauma and you see the way that we react to things. It's,
Right.
a lot of anger, a lot
Mhm.
of angst. And what I'm saying is that there's something called stimulus and response.
Yes.
Stimulus means something happens. Response is how you give it attention, how you respond to it.
Hmm.
Now, you have these two. In between stimulus and response is your freedom. And what does that mean? That
Right.
means you're able to, with meditation and you taking care of yourself, you can be able, when something happens, instead of you losing your mind or losing your cool, you could be able to see it in a different way. The
Right.
way that King and Gandhi see it. They could have, had all these, fights, against the country, but they changed the way they saw things to In essence, that gap allows you to have an empowered response instead of disempowered response. You want an empowered response. And the only way that you can do that is to be able to regulate your nervous system. You know, so you can be able to see something and step back for a second and just say, I can lose my mind, or I can see it in some other way and change the trajectory. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, definitely.
Especially with our men, you know, in situations like that, you know, I mean, it's so easy. Look, I mean, listen, every so often, if I'm not well resourced, if I'm not taking care of myself, it's easy for me to fly off. That's why it's so important to stay focused on your practice.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because it is indeed a practice. Indeed, a practice. It's not, we're on the journey just like everybody else, you know, it's not always going to be perfect. We are living, breathing human beings, and we get impacted by trauma and grief and everything that we deal with, as well as leaders and as people who want to impact the world. We have to really put that mask on ourselves to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. So walking the walk is critical.
Yes.
You know, for us as well as for all of you.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So why don't we do this, Tony, as we get ready closer to closing? Why don't we go ahead and do a breathing exercise, and then just to let you all know, we I am on a meditation group with Tony. You could share about that, Tony. I have been able to work up to about 20 minutes before my brain starts running all over the place. So it's like, and it's like 10. I stayed at 10 for a minute. Then I said, I'm gonna try 15. Now I'm on my way to 20. And it's rough just to get my brain to just settle down for a minute and just be still.
Okay.
Just be still. So Tony, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
All right, Deborah, just real quickly, I'm going to tell you a couple of things on why you should do meditation, and then how to, and it'll be really quick. Why you should do it: number one, to transform yourself so you can transform the world. Let's go pie in the sky. All right. So that's one of the key there. Strengthen your mind, willpower, optimize your immune system, put your attention where you want, when you want, for how long you want. We can go on and on and on. The records show the power of meditation. It's just being able and meditation, you can do it for 1 minute. You can do it for the whole weekend of Vipassana, meditation. Just do it. Just do whatever you can to be able just to be more well-resourced. How to do it. The 5 Ds, real quick. Number one, do it. Do the meditation. Take some time out, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and just take a breath. That's meditation. Number two, do it with dignity. Your physiology affects your psychology. That means if you're slumped over, you're not going to have the effect than you would if you're sitting back, head up, like the king or queen that you are, with dignity. Number three, and do it with a defined anchor. What does that mean? Meditation can be sometimes boring for people. So what can you use like an anchor? What an anchor does is it's a piece of metal that holds in place that ship. So you need something to hold you in place. So what can be an anchor for you? A breathing, a mantra, heroic, Deborah, your child's name or something, an anchor in which you just concentrate on that, that thing for 1 minute or how long you do the meditation, a mantra. So that's an anchor. Number four, strong determination. Practice. And do it again, which means you miss a day, you miss 5 days. Guess what? Go back and do it again. Don't beat yourself up. It's not because it's you. It's because we're human. It happens to all of us.
Yes.
So do it again. So
Right.
what I'm going to do, Deborah, for the meditation is we're going to do a 2-minute meditation in which I'm going to give you our wonderful bell that we have at Clear Mountain that I've been, in fact, it's pretty weather beaten there that we've gonged.
But it's
And
great.
what we'll do is what I need you to do is hear my prompts, and then I want you just to close your eyes, or close your eyes, sit up straight. And again, if you're having a tough day or anything like that, allow yourself to be in the moment. All right. So this is going to be 2 minutes. All right. So here we go. I'm going to hit this gong 3 times, and then we'll go right in. Through your nose, proud chest, head up, shoulders back. Concentrate on a mantra. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I can do this. I am doing this for me. Big, better, stronger. You are a winner. You can do this. Taking a deep breath through your nose, down your stomach, into your belly. Exhale out everything through the nose. We're past 1 minute. Inhale deeply. You got this. You got this. You got this. Thirty seconds. I love who I'm becoming. I love who I'm becoming. 15 seconds. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Open your eyes. Just feel the sensation, what you felt. Allow yourself to be grateful for the opportunity for some quiet time for yourself to recharge, to rejuvenate. And I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony, for that. That was fantastic. So you guys can plug into that, and it's transforming. And those mantras, I got to tell you, those mantras, those affirmations, I am enough. I like who I am becoming. Just to be able to say that out loud internally to yourself, it changes so much for you. So hopefully,
and the thing that you said, Deborah, is just so apropos as we're closing, is that we're inundated with other voices.
yes,
We got the other voice saying you can't do it, or your
Absolutely.
parents said don't do this, don't do that, your boss saying
Yes.
do this, do that, you're not enough, this and that, and we're not talking. And then when we are talking, we're talking negative about ourselves anyway. So it's
Right.
they're beating you up and you're beating you up. You
Right.
have a chance.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, Tony, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that? Because Tony's a phenomenal life coach. How would they get in touch with you?
Well, Deborah, again, I'm so honored again to known you've been friends with you, for a while, and our lives have changed, just learning from each other. So if there's anyone who is interested, in essence, just learning about how they can be able, just meditation, or motivation, fitness, need someone to talk to, give me a call. My phone number is 732-207-4240, 732-207-4240. But the key thing, if I were to say anything at all, the world deserves your greatness. And the only way that you can show up for your greatness is to be able to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for watching. You'll see this video as well. Thank you so much, Tony. You were awesome. I appreciate you so much. And everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you again soon. We'll have Tony on again, probably not next week, but we'll have him on. He'll come back. He'll come back and visit us.
Anytime.
But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Take care and have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye-bye. Bye. So let's see. Here we go.